So these two matrices are actually very special. This matrix gets a special name. It's known as the Pauli X matrix. And this matrix gets another name. It's known as the Pauli Z matrix. This is the subject of chapter 2.1.3, the Pauli matrices. Now, all there is in this definition, in this section, is definitions, the definitions of what the Pauli matrices are. So there are 4 of them. The identity matrix, 2x2 identity matrix, which hopefully you've all have seen before. Pauli X, that's the one that we've seen. So this will be 0, 1, 1, 0. Pauli Y will be 0 minus I. This is the imaginary one. I, 0. So I being the square root of -1, the imaginary unit. And then Pauli Z is the last one that we've seen, 1, 0, 0, minus 1. Why do we care about these? There's some very nice properties about these matrices. First, they form a basis for the space of 2x2 complex matrices. Okay? So that means that I could write any 2x2 complex matrix as a linear combination of these 4. So a basis for the space of 2x2 matrices. And it's a basis with very special properties. Each Pauli matrix is actually going to be a unitary matrix. I'm going to define these terms for you in a minute, so I'm not going to write them down now. They're also going to be a Hermitian matrix. They're all going to square to identity. And they have other nice properties, one of which I'll write down in a second. So the sooner you memorize these in this course, the better your quality of life will be. So, write it on a note card or on the back of your hand or whatever you need to do. Review these until you can, in a second, write down all 4 Pauli matrices. Very important class of matrices that have these nice properties. I'm almost always going to use the notation that you see here, just identity X, Y, and Z. But since they're so special, they have other symbols. So you'll also see sigma 0 for identity. You'll see sigma 1 for X, sigma 2 for Y, and sigma 3 for Z. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also see sigma sub I for identity, sigma sub X, sigma sub Y, and sigma sub Z. So make sure you remember these and are comfortable with the notation. I'll try to just use the simplest notation whenever possible. But because they have sort of common properties between them, it's nice to just use the sigma notation and then have a subscript index. One exercise that I'll ask you to work out is to compute the product imaginary unit I, Pauli X times Pauli Z. And in the interest of time, I'm just going to write down the answer. But you can show that this is equal to Pauli Y. So in a sense, Pauli Y is redundant. And later in the course, we'll just reduce to X and Z. Identity also being redundant because X squared is equal to identity, and the same as Z squared. And we have this nice relationship here.